Boniface Chazier is a development economist and, of course, newspaper columnist writing on economy, politics, policy, FX, and everything else in between. And, of course, we want to discuss about messy politics and electoral cycles. How has this been for economy and markets? Of course, all the jitters and nervousness when we get to another 4 years of general elections and what we gain and what we lose. So let's have this and take it all from a perspective that is very deep. Of course, we'll touch a bit on the monetary policies and the FX market as well. Mr. Chazier is live here in the studio with us. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. A very business time starting this morning. A former U.S. president, immediate past U.S. president, Barack Obama says politics could be messy, but shouldn't be chaotic. In Nigeria, it looks like we have both. It's both messy and chaotic. So how do you think this impact on, first, governance, or what you call good governance? How has Nigeria's governance been impacted by electoral cycle and messy political environment?
Well, I think that, I think if you ask me, I think we should say to ourselves, you know, that should there be a different way of making sure that we change the button, you know, political button. You know, there's a way to do that. We have to embrace it. I think that in this environment, politics, because you have it, it's destabilizing to a large extent. What tends to happen is that you have this your 4-year cycle. And by the time you do 2 years, 2 years and a half, you're going into the 3rd year, never mind talking about going into the 4th year. All attention, all energy is focused on the election that is coming, has been anticipated. And given the nature of our economy, the fact that we are still evolving, we're still growing, we're still developing, and we have lots of investments coming in, and the fact of also that instability is part of our, is associated with us. Instability, chaos, like you did say, it is associated with us. And so you tend to find that the portfolio investors would vote with their monies. You know, I just read in the paper this morning that within 8 months, doesn't believe it, people lost 3.43 trillion naira. And that's people's money down the drain. Stock market. Down the drain. And this has been there for quite some time. So you find that your rate of exchange and it's impacting on your reserves, it's affecting everything. Investors, there's wait and see and so on. I thought that this time that we seem to have two leaders. You have the president and the president in wait, coming aspiring president Atiku, that both of them are from the same part of the country, both of them are Muslims, both of them are Fulanis, as they say. You know, that in fact I would expect that it's going to be a bit more, the tension, you know, a bit more, much lower. But it's not been so. I think that it's a terrible thing to happen. And I don't know what's the solution. Look, I say to myself, I see people are presenting budgets, you know, present budgets. In fact, I was surprised. I read that Ambode also presented budget, you know, to the assembly, state assembly. I said to myself, you know, so he presented this budget, so he's going to implement it. Nobody.
Well, politics is messy everywhere. A little bit. Look at Washington, the shutdown, right? Under the current Trump's administration, right? So it could be a lot of fighting between folks on the left and on the right side of the divide. What makes Nigeria's political environment in such a way that businesses get really nervous about who's going to be the next president, what political party is going to get in, who's going to get into governorship office, and that even the discussion from beer parlor to bedroom, whatever, is all about messy politics and infighting and insults and whatever, rather than, and far less on what we're doing on the business and economic front, even if we have some good stories to tell.
Yeah, but you know, the thing, Wilson, I think that the thing is that in Nigerian politics, we must call a spade by its name. There's no rhyme, there's no rhythm. We don't have, there are no policies, there are no, if you like, philosophies and so on, political philosophies that's driving the parties. And so you find that even if you take the fact that people are like foot loose and fancy free, you know, so you find you're in this party today, tomorrow you're in the next, and the next day you're in the next, and so on. And key players are crossing from one party to another. That adds to the issue. You know, if you go to developed economies, you go to where there's matured politics, Now people are known for certain perspectives, on the economy. And so somebody comes and is a Republican or is a Democrat. And you know what it stands for. And you don't expect somebody who's a Democrat, to overnight want to change.
But we have some philosophies. It goes to Second Republic between the late Awolowo's UPN and the NPN, which was the late Shehu Shagari, and of course the PPP, is it the RPP in the north, PRP in the northern.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, but you see, it's all got bastardized by the military. The military came and that subverted everything. Even it takes the revenue allocation which we have today, we're battling with, talking about instruction. It was subverted by the military. So they came and they turned the apple cart. And so they turned this issue of, you generate revenue from your region, you bring in the center. It wasn't like that before. We did things the way it should be done. And they subverted the federation, which we have today.
We had a political environment, an electoral cycle that has helped us build what you called an administration. Because politicians will come and go. In local parlance, a soldier goes, soldier come. So presidents come, presidents go. But we talk about an administration or the governance structure on which we have a template for running the country. Do you think we have a process like that now that would be a little bit not so dislocated or seriously buffeted by the political jostlings, by a new set and old set of career politicians?
I think that we have lots of challenges in the sense that when you talk of the three arms of government, I see what is happening recently, whereby the executive suspended the head of judiciary. And you take something like that, that would be, again, it tells you that, we have issues. So, yes, I think that it's an evolving situation. I think that we need to pray that we have some stability. We'll go through this process. We have the elections, and then that, that I'm sure there'll be contentions, and probably in some instances we're going to end up in court. Well, I expect that, we expect that there'll be no bloodshed. I don't expect that we'll get that because I don't see people being chased in droves, people like Southerners being chased from the north and so on and so forth. I did say earlier that, the cleavages that would tend to define us, this time are not as defined.
But if you look at the current political environment, of course, which is taking us to another major elections in the next couple of days or a week or two, and then you can say we have a bit of ideology or philosophies here. The Buhari's administration over the last 4 years seemed to have stuck with a form of a socialist kind of economy in which it's a social investment program. The government believes, he believes that the government should be the big brother. And then you find one of the main challenger, on the other hand, Atiku, for example, who says, look, I'll be more of a business sector. I want to do more of privatization. I want to be more of taking the NNPC to the stock market and what have you, and open up the economy and all that. Do you think these are clear-cut day and night? Is it the rainbow?
No, I don't see that. If you also listen to Atiku's interview, I watched an interview on Kadaria, and he talks about what he did in the state in terms of the bank, People's Bank kind of thing, whereby he said he uplifted for 17,000 people out of poverty. And he said so. I think that whomsoever is going to come here, you're right in the sense that, PDP will seem to be private sector focused, and then APC will seem to be like a populist, But then I would expect that for us, given the challenge you have in this economy, given the fact that we've been characterized and defined as the poverty capital of the world, so we've overtaken India, given that fact that there's no anybody that comes and wants to craft a budget, that the only realistic budget you will craft, that budget must be pro-poor. And so what I'm saying to us in the fact is that you must make sure that you begin to put those things that will alleviate, minimize hardship within the environment. So we are talking of your health, education, and housing, and so on. Those are going to be pro-poor. And so, but if Atiku comes and he wants to, for instance, he talks about people who have stolen monies and asking to bring it back. I did a post, and I thought that was I should give it a try. You see, one of the things that it's said everywhere that you can't be doing something and expect different results. So we've been doing something, we're doing it, we follow this, gone down this route, and then the recoveries are not there. We can't see it, and the thing is stuck up in so many places. There are litigations, there are bureaucracies, and things is coming in trickles. And we're not be able to see it. It doesn't come in that quantum. Allow us and enable us to have effective investment using this funding. And then somebody said, look, we want to try this. And there's an outcry. So you try it, because you try something, and that thing to you is clear to you It's not been working.
So do you think our political environment and our electoral cycles haven't had much positive impact on our fiscal policy direction and results?
No, I think to some extent it did. I mean, I think that if you take fiscal policy, I think that what you have to say for this government, I think that there's a massive improvement in the fiscal aspect, particularly taxation. So I read in the papers about the amount of money that Inland Revenue Services is recovering on taxation. I think that's the way to go. And that has to be sustained, because you see, what's happening in this economy is that, and what has happened lately is that we have borrowed money for consumption. And certainly that's not sustainable. We've borrowed money to pay salaries. And we did bailouts, to states that are not viable. Okay? And so you must gravitate your physical, if you like, environment to such an extent that your taxation, the money you generate from tax, to be able to fund day-to-day, the recurrent expenditure. And that's the way to go.
4 years of Buhari's monetary policy, even though you will attribute that to the central bank, but of course I'm not sure any central bank, at least in this part of the world, doesn't take a phone calls from Mr. President. Well, in this part of the world, I'm sure as well, but in this part of the world, the President makes the phone call. So, and of course you discuss with Mr. President where the monetary policy, FX policy is going. So, the last 4 years, what's your take on this monetary policy that also seem a little bit tied to electoral cycle?
Yeah. Well,
in the manner of who becomes the central bank governor, what the tenor is, and all that.
Well, I think that if you take the fiscal policy, monetary policy under this government, I think that I just did an article, an article in which I talked about that there's this proposal that we're going to float the naira. And I say, look, some of us, we've seen it all. And part of the problem we've had in this economy is an attempt. Every time we make an attempt, the multilateral institutions, financial institutions will get at our back and begin to tell us we're not going the right way, we're not doing the right way, and so on and so forth. And we tend to heed. And each time we've done it, going starting from 1986, when we had structural adjustment program, whenever we did it, naira was exchanged at 22 naira to $1. And overnight, naira was depreciated to 86 naira to $1. And we kept 2 windows. I know what crisis that caused in this economy. And since then, naira has never recovered below 86. And then during this administration, when this administration started, naira exchanged for about 158 naira to $1. And then there was all this hue and cry that the central banks still don't know what they're doing. And then I also embraced liberalization. What happened? It was going to 500 naira to $1 until the panic button was hit. And so when you have somebody telling you that it's going to liberalize the naira, we want stability, Wilson. We want stability. So today, it's 360 in one market, it's 305 in the official market, and we have to try and make sure we harmonize that. We don't want that stability. Now, if anybody is coming in after the elections, the new government that's coming in, must do everything to keep stability. That's very important. Don't embrace what's so-called. Keep what is there. You have to look at this policy of trying to control importations.
The 41 items.
The 41 items has been increased to 42 because the governor central bank just added fertilizer. It's just been increased. Well, you have to keep it. You have to manage it. See, look, all these reversals, they don't help this economy. We are in a haste. We are not growing. And you have the greatest sector in this economy is unemployment. And so we can't go on like this. And so you have social consequences, social issues. People are going out, they're leaving schools and they're staying 4 years, 5 years out of work. Now that's demoralizing. That kills the spirit. And that we better be up and doing.
We've done very tight monetary regime for the last 4 years. You think we should keep it in place a bit?
Yes,
you think it will help local industrial production?
I know what's happening is that you have an economy that is you want to attract. It's exposed to the external sector. You want to attract. So you have to be very careful what you do. And so there's a need for you, for instance, take interest rates, which people have talked about. And say interest rate, the monetary policy rate has been kept at the same level for so many meetings. Now, if you're trying to attract funds from overseas, you are in competitions with funds. These funds, they have various destinations. And so if you have the returns they make, if they come to your economy, you are watching it. And so you don't want to do that. And then also you are looking at the economy. I say, look, what is the causative factor? What causes inflation in your environment? The core mandate of the central bank is price stability. And it's very important. So they have to maintain price stability. And so they're watching liquidity in the system. You have elections coming. And one of the fears central bank would have, they have their job cut out for them because lots of money is coming in from outside. People coming to monetize, change the money from dollars and change it to naira, and then and spend. Or if some bring dollars, this is the hell that even will spend dollars. So we give dollars. And some of the key decisions that were taken along that side, it was strictly Bank Road. With some massive dollars that were imported from overseas. And so the economy is as it is.
If you're a member of the MPC, how would you vote for interest rate, hold, cut, or raise?
I will. Well, going on, I think interest rates have been held at the same point for too long. I think there's a need for us to notionally give an indication that we need interest rates as a factor cost.
Notionally?
Notionally.
How much percentage change would be your notional vote?
Well, 500 basis points.
500?
Yes.
That's quite massive.
No,
that's big.
No,
that's not notional. That's huge.
Okay, 0.5.
Yes.
Yeah, 0.5%. So it's about 14. I said 13.5. Going forward, because I think that we need to do that. It's been at the same level for such a long time. And if you're talking of boosting this economy, one of the things you also need to boost the economy is the cost of borrowing, the cost of funds is also part of it. And so I think that we need to go down that way. I would expect that elections will come. As soon as we get elections behind us, we don't know who's going to be the next governor of the central bank. We expect that would be the way to go. We'll begin to tinker with interest rates. Look, both in overseas, people don't have other instruments. All they have is the interest rates. And once they have elections, the Monetary Policy Committee meets, all eyes are focused on the rate of interest. Because how people have their mortgages and so on and so forth, it has also implications. So if I have a mortgage and you drop the interest, no matter what it is, that's savings, that comes to me. So I think that monetary policy, we need to look at it and make sure that, like we did say, is in tight. We need to have aim for some realization going forward.
A little bit.
A little bit, yes. That's what I said notionally.
Mm-hmm. And then over time, what would you like to say? What's your outlook on the FX and the market?
Well, like I said in the FX, I think what's more important for us in the FX is that we need some stability. People adjust, businessmen adjust. What is most important for the business person is that he wants to know that between two cycles of business, at what rate of exchange am I going to do business? Very important.
So people are adjusting. Stability and certainty.
Yes, he needs stability and certainty because then he's able to make some projections. And so if I've done my calculations, I'll be able to say, look, within this limit, I'll be able to do my business. And that's very important. And that's why there's a need for us to have stability. And anybody that's coming, we don't want this going up and down. We don't want it anymore. We want people to come. And let's have some stability in the economy. And let's make sure that there's some consistency. We have a focus and we maintain that focus. And that's going very critical and very important going forward.
Thank you very much. Mr. Boniface Chizie, a development economist and, of course, a columnist in a number of Nigerian newspapers talking about economy, the policy, polity, and the financial markets. Let's come back to you after the break. You're watching Business Morning, live from Channels Global Headquarters.